All right. Hello, hello. We are back with week 3, which is very exciting of our hypnosis training and study group. So excited for this one. This here it's so good and so powerful that I actually teach it to my clients that are coming to see me for weight loss, because it's such a valuable and important skill to really understand our subconscious mind and what's going on underneath the surface and how to access that. It's actually pretty simple once you learn it. It's really just science. All of this, technology, mind technology that we're learning right now. It's simple science, just the way that the brain works and the mind works, and how language is so important to accessing that part of the mind, because that's how we experience the world, right? So today we're going to be talking about impact words. But first, I want to just remind us about the general gist of hypnosis is that we're not necessarily trying to get into hypnosis, although that is fun and wonderful, because getting into and out of hypnosis are totally natural states. I mean, I know that when I am just like right now, like walking into an important meeting, which to me, this is a very important meeting, right? Like I am your leader, I am your guide, I am showing you things that you can incorporate into your life, into your world, into your business, into your everyday activities. And I find it's very important to me. And so there's like a little bit of anxiety and stress that gets added to that. And so I always take a few moments before I walk into any situation like that. I pause and I take a few deep breaths. I just close my eyes and I say a little intentional prayer to myself about getting my fears and frustrations out of the way and allowing spirit to really speak through me, right? To really be authentic and to be truthful and just to show up real and see what happens. And so when I do that, that's a form of hypnosis. That's a form of going into an altered state for a particular purpose and a reason. And so we do this a lot. We do this before and after all kinds of important events in our life. So going into and out of hypnosis for intentional reason is totally natural and normal. And when it comes to making positive changes for ourselves and or helping other people make positive changes in their own life, we don't have to worry about getting them into hypnosis. We're not stage hypnotists, right? We're not there for entertainment purposes. Really, the point is to help people get out of their stuck place, out of the hypnosis that they place themselves into, those repetitive thoughts or those repetitive actions that are keeping them from really shining, from really allowing the layers of the human onion inside of our mental and emotional selves to fade away, to soften, to allow the budding of who we truly are to come through and be vibrant and alive and full of energy and awe and wonder. So if you do have your book, awesome. So I'm in the Language of the Mind book. So this is his most recent edition. I think it was like 2004 or 2005. And so if you did want to follow along with me, I'm just on page 1 right now, where he talks about what is psycholinguistics. He says that psycholinguistics is a series of patterns designed around strategies rather than problems. That the mechanics of most, typical other therapies that often infer that in some way the problem could have been avoided. And that's one of the things that I just really adore and love about psycholinguistics and the power of healing and hypnotherapy as a tool that we use to help us soften the edges of life and move forward, is that we really take the learning of the past always as positive. And okay, these are the things that I liked worked well. These are the things that I didn't like so much. Where am I going to go from here? And so it's always about future pacing. It's always about looking into our future and placing in that future the things that we actually want. And what's really interesting about, and of course, I encourage you to read this book from cover to cover. It's just gem after gem after gem of those aha moments that help us expand ourself, our life, our awareness, our understanding of who we are and what we're really here to do. And then all the things that kind of go on top. And it's just so powerful and wonderful. And he says that When people become addicted, now whether it's in thinking or drugs or food or tobacco or alcohol or emotions or whatever it is, they are without exception seeking a positive feeling. There is always a positive underlying intention. This is one of the most powerful realizations that anyone can have, especially when I'm working with my ladies where they're talking about their health and their weight, because it's so easy to get down on ourselves when we have some kind of addictive behavior and we can't stop doing something. It's like, it makes us so frustrated. We kind of hate that part of ourselves that keeps doing that. There's always a positive underlying intention. And with that, just one simple understanding can begin to cultivate some compassion for ourselves so that we can actually move forward with a little bit of grace. Therefore, he says, all addictions have a positive underlying intention. Doug Ruskoff and Patrick Wells tell us that getting high is one of the most natural of human urges. All humans have a need for periods of non-ordinary consciousness. Because of this, it appears to be a biological urge. Now, of course, in recent decades, getting high is considered at worst illegal and at best irresponsible. Through the use of psycholinguistics and hypnotic techniques, clients are taught that their positive intention or their high is not only okay, it is necessary and natural. What a freaking transformation right there. That thing that we blamed and shamed us for is necessary and natural. It's okay. Now, would we like to make some twists and turns in it so that it actually is productive in our life? Of course. And having this base understanding is incredibly healing. The individual is then guided to fill in the pieces for achieving a high without the need for drugs or addictions. They can transform their addictive behavior into something positive and productive. It is, in fact, that everyone alive already knows how to get high naturally. As infants, we were all open channels for receiving signals with all five senses. Because the newborn has no information upon which to judge the information received, everything is experienced and nothing is filtered. However, as the child grows into an adult, he or she must put the filters as the ability to focus, concentrate, and learn becomes necessary. Soon, the total aliveness of full sensory experience is lost, but the memory of complete awareness remains. Psycholinguistics, hypnotic techniques, as we're talking about them here, is designed to darken, quiet, and desensitize the remembrances of the less than positive experiences of the past and to reawaken the memories of the natural joy found in living high. Ooh, I just love this idea that we so innately know. We know what it is to feel that inspiration, that intuition, that deep connectedness with ourself, with God, with our higher power, with the universe, knowing that we are here for a purpose and for a reason, if nothing else than to feel some gosh darn joy. Hallelujah, absolutely. Okay, so one of the ways in which we can really tap into each individual. So we always start with ourselves, right? Because self-understanding then helps us understand others. But there's one thing that can really get in our way, and I have this totally. I sometimes assume that everyone is like me, right? Like, well, no, this is important. Don't you know? This is the way to to fill up the dishwasher. Don't you know? This is the right way to do the laundry. Don't you know? This is the right way to think. Like, to me, it's so obvious that this is the way to do things and this is what makes sense and this is what's important. However, everybody's map of reality is totally different. Now, sometimes we can have things that are similar. However, everyone has a little different twist on what they find are important, what motivates them, what excites them, what shuts them down. Their map of reality is, of course, different than the actual territory, but we need to understand the map so that we can help them as a guide, whether we're guiding ourselves through the dramas and traumas in life or we're guiding somebody else to their best life. It is important that we understand the map that we're working with. So one of the ways that we do that are with what's called impact words. Now, of course, Maria, if you have, a comment to share, you have a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself and we will get to that question, that comment. I also did want to, and I know that you had, I actually did, okay, so your email, no, I did read your email. Thank you. I have not responded to it yet, but I think in that email, you did suggest doing a PDF, which I can totally do for you. I have not gotten around to it just yet on that particularly, but so I am going to share with you right now, just in the chat, I'm going to share this. It is still a Google document. But even if you open it in Google, you can yourself download it as a PDF if you prefer a PDF. I know, actually, I think you said like Word. I don't use Word because I have a Mac. So, I mean, I know that you can get it on there. But if you want it like as a PDF, that's easy to do. So either one of us could do that and download it as a PDF if that's easier for you to print and stuff. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about impact words. So you can either grab that, Maria, or I'm actually just going to share my screen and go over this with you real quick. So, and if you have a notebook, that would totally be awesome as well. You don't have to have this thing printed out. What am I doing here? Oh my God, there's like so many more. That's so cool. I have so many more little gadgety things down there. All right, so today we're going to be talking about impact words. Now, this is so cool. Let me make this a little bit bigger for us. Cool. Okay, so I am on page now 84. If you like to jot in your book, impact words. So first of all, we are going to be talking about and answering this important question. What has to be present in a job for you to enjoy it? Now you can just take a couple of notes and jot that down. I know for me, it's gotta be music. It's gotta be people, and I have to feel like I am helping. And the idea of constant learning, like being a lifelong learner, is really important. I know that I would not ever be happy with a job where I just came in and I did the same exact thing every single day and there wasn't any room for growth, right? Like I love to continue to learn, to have lifelong learning. I like there to be music. I like there to be people. So it might be different for you. Maybe you do want to just like, hey, you know what? Like, I just want to go in, do my thing, not have anyone bother me and go out. So think about what needs to be present in a job for you to enjoy it. I'm actually going to unmute you, Maria, if you don't mind. And I would love to have you share with us your answers to that.
Oh, hey, okay, no problem.
Cool.
So funny because we have a lot in common. My first answer was music. I have to have music. I don't know why. I really love having music in the background. It just helps with me to feel more relaxed, I think. And what has to be present in your relationship to enjoy it?
No, let's just do one at a time. Just a job. What needs to be present?
No problem. Oh, okay. Definitely music, communication, people. It has to be kinesthetic. It doesn't have to be, but I prefer it. Where I do not like to just sit. I like to move around and communicate. And it has to be something that I enjoy doing. So it has to involve a little bit of creativity and the skills that I harbor. So it has to be something I like, or else Maria's going to quit and keep looking for what she wants. I'll be, see, I don't want to be you.
Amen. So you can
job and shove it. So
right. So you might be able to notice here that I'm turning to the side. I'm actually writing this down. Now, getting these impact words when you're working with someone in a therapeutic type of setting, if you are like a coach or you're helping them or whatever it is, asking them these questions and jotting down their answers is going to be very helpful in creating an atmosphere and helping them navigate. And especially because these are the words that you're going to be putting into, or the ideas that you're going to be putting into, and customizing their hypnosis session. Now, it doesn't need to be like, every single sentence needs to have these words, but somewhere in there, it's important to have these ideas, these concepts, and these words in the session, because this is what's important to your client. This is how, so as we are, because the point is that we're soon going to be putting the client's mind or our own mind to work. Right? Making a change doesn't just happen, right? It's a type of work. So in order to do it successfully, we must know what the individual's underlying positive motivation is and how it works. Then during the session, you can tap into a pre-existing motivation strategy by using the motivating impact words. All suggestions and programming techniques can be structured with the use of impact words, so they make sense to and have the impact on the person receiving the programming. Now, these are helpful in the hypnotic sense of like actually in the script, when the person has their eyes closed, and or just in conversation. Right? Knowing what motivates yourself, it makes it so much easier to then make sure that those things are in your future. So it was so funny because I know that about myself. And so a long time ago, like I knew that music was important to me, but I didn't know how it was going to play out. I actually worked at a record store for a long time, and I love music in the background while I'm working, just like you, Maria. And it's so funny that we ended up at a place where what we do is listen to music in the background while we're making like hypnotic sessions for people. It's like, I remember like when I actually, when Patrick was teaching us this and he told us those, what's important in a job, and I went music, I went, oh my God, of course I love this job. No wonder.
Yeah, I really loved it. I surrounded myself with music. I think just by accident, I would work at restaurants or bars that have music.
Right. I mean, you say accident, but there's no accident, right? We are who we are. Totally. Okay. So what needs to be
present?
Oh,
I loved it. It's like ever since I have to have some type of something like that.
Yeah, me too. Okay, what's really funny too is that if someone says a challenge, like what needs to be present in a job for them to enjoy it is a challenge, then I know that whatever change that they're looking to make, they're going to purposely make it challenging. And so what's interesting to me is I'll just kind of put that on the back burner for a minute and I'll jot it down, right? Like in my notes with that client. And then in a couple of weeks, when they are finding it being challenging, I'm going to remind them that they actually enjoy a challenge. And I do this every time. There's one client I can think of right now in particular where I was like, see, and just that realization, she went, oh, and then she was able to make it fun for herself. Instead of it being like a challenge that was upsetting and it should, quote, be easy, realizing that she enjoys a challenge, she went, oh my God, how can I make this fun? I do love a challenge. So this kind of information is so, so, so powerful. Okay, number 2, what needs to be present in a relationship for you to enjoy it?
Oh man. The first thing I thought was attraction, sex appeal, chemistry, and it has to be. I don't know if it's not different, but it has to be like fun, not boring. The person has to be fun to me and not boring. Or exciting. So it has to be some excitement.
So what about in other relationships? Because this is not necessarily an intimate sexual type of relationship, but what about in other relationships? Friends, family, like, well, not family, you don't really choose them, but friendships.
Maybe not consciously.
Yeah, but, right. True. I don't remember doing it.
Subject. different subject,
That's
but yeah, sure. We have to have like things that common that I like,
mhm.
something in common, and something, and I have to like them. And most of the time I try to vibrate so I can get, but this is me working on myself so I can get more positive friends. But that's what I learned, is that we all had something in common. I can see myself in them. And so when and that helped me to love them more. So there's got to be some love, there's got to be some connections, something that we have in common.
Beautiful. So the importance of asking about relationships is simple. When the behavior changes are made, your client will have a new relationship with his or her inner self. For the new programs to feel right, they must be stored with the positive relationship programs of the past. Now, by using the relationship impact words within the suggestions, it will allow the new programs the respect needed to be accessed and used. So again, this makes sense, right? Our relationship with ourself, our relationship with whatever the change is, our relationship with our future. It's important that we are able to
Can I add something?
yeah, please.
Because I don't want to be phony baloney, but all this helps me in what you said. It has to do with myself. And so when I reflect and I saw what I had in common, I saw the negative too. So it wasn't just all the pretty flowers and, oh, I'm so this, I'm so perfect. No, I have friends that were negative as well. So I just want to be real. That
Yeah,
was something in common that I had with them, and that was with me. So it's kind of like a mirror.
right. So, I mean, I totally hear what you're saying. And the question was, what has to be present in a relationship for you to enjoy it?
Yeah. So I like that key
Oh,
word, enjoy, because we're totally moving forward from that
right.
that state of mind or program. Okay, yeah. So definitely enjoy. Thank you. I like that.
Yes. No, I totally get it. And you know what? I mean, it's so natural. I mean, again, just so much love and compassion for ourselves. Like there is always the duality. There is always the yin and the yang. There is always the opposite of what it is that we want. It's what we want and the lack of what we want. Right. And it's never going to be different. It's never going to, we're never, we don't want it to be different. I remember I had a friend, I just adore this man. And he was going through some struggles, and his, therapist put him on antidepressants. And he was like, oh my God, I was a different person. It was amazing. And it was really cool for a while. He's like, but after about a year, I wondered where my sadness was. He's like, I just
Oh
didn't feel
wow.
like a whole person. He's like, I was just happy all the time, which is like nice, sort of, but not really. Like having the full influx of emotion and feeling and being human is so awesome. And I think a little bit of coming up against a struggle or a frustration or feeling stuck or whatever that is, and diving back into who we really are, it is both, and that's okay. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Thank you, Maria.
No, yeah, I really had to deal with myself, so I found that to be very valid. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you appreciate that.
Yeah. Amen. We're all dealing with ourselves here.
Mhm.
It's fun and exciting and like, whoa, sometimes. All right, so let's move on to number 3. What has to be present in a hobby for you to enjoy it?
You know my answer. It has to be music. Has to
Yeah.
be communication. Wow, I've really just has to be something that brings me pleasure and joy. So um, it has to do with me. I guess colors, just artsy fartsy crap. I mean, I love it all. Flowers, nature, people, the communication, words and numbers. Yeah, just art and communication, I think. Mhm.
Yeah. So notice how she said communication several times.
I notice. I know. Not necessarily coming from me, but it could come from other people as well.
Right. Right. So using your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very powerful. Thank you. So your client has to come to, I'm sorry, what? Your client has come to you because he or she wants the new programs to be easy and accomplished with minimal effort. How easy is it to accomplish a task when it feels as if you are doing something you enjoy? The client is not only using the new program, but is enjoying using it as well. So that is the importance of asking about what needs to be present in a hobby for you to enjoy it, because a hobby, you know what I mean? That's not the stress out about money. That's not trying to please anybody else. Like a hobby is just a very personal type of thing. So that's where that question comes in. And number 4, how do you know when you have done a good job?
Yeah, that's a hard one for me. No, I could do this. Okay. When I hear validation from other people, when I get a good feeling inside, when I see the results that I'm looking for. I think so.
Yes, that was beautiful. Thank you. So most people have some method of judging information, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. By gathering this information, you can set up the suggestions to move along a timeline of success with which the individual is comfortable. In other words, because this person must be capable of believing that success is possible, you are setting up guidelines within his or her belief structure. The response to this question will also let you know whether your client uses internal or external processing to accept information, which means, does this individual know from within that he or she is doing well, or does this acceptance need to come from someone else? Very powerful. Now, of course, you know, we all have, need, appreciate, and enjoy both. Just so you know, Maria, I muted you again, but we'll unmute you in a second. You just had some ruffling. So now that we have our impact words, now we can begin to, along with our visual, auditory, kinesthetic words, where we're beginning to have and be gathering a lot of information about these, about our own map of the world. Again, these are these aha moments of like, oh, now I get why I've been drawn to this and why I do that and kind of what's happening here. And now I have a little bit more understanding, and I have more ways in which I can navigate my future. So this next little part here, and this is where we make it a little bit more personal. And so I gave you the example of what I give to my weight loss clients. I have them write 2 sentences using the words or ideas from the answers that we've been given in these 4 questions above to describe how their life is better now that they have, and for my weight loss clients is a successful food plan and are creating healthy habits as they move towards their ideal weight. For general purposes, it might be something like, you know, write 2 sentences using the words or ideas from your answers to describe how your life is better now that you have achieved your desired goal. So this is, for example, the question will just go with the very most recent one. How do you know when you've done a good job? So personally, I am a very externally motivated type of person. I'm very influenced by the people that I hang out with, the books that I read, the podcasts that I listen to, the conversations that I have are very influential on me. Of course, I have an internal locus of control and I meditate. My spirituality is very important to me. However, I know that my number 1 is I like to hear the validation. So a sentence that would be really wonderful and inspiring to me as I future pace my success, especially in my health and fitness goals, is something like this. Even after a long day, I can hear my son saying, "Wow, Mom, I noticed that you've been taking really good care of yourself, and that you have more energy to play with me. I am proud of you. So in a hypnotic session, it would be amazing for my therapist to add this phrase while I was in a relaxed state, while I was thinking about and incorporating different habits and skills, the drinking more water, the getting more exercise, the focusing on fresh and alive and vibrant foods, of eating just enough and the right amounts of food for this particular body. And that I also know that one of my triggers to going to backsliding into eating things that don't really work for me and they don't make me feel good afterwards, but that kind of is like old habits, is having a long day. Right. So you can see how simple words and the way that we put them together after gathering this kind of information about what needs to, or how do I know when I've done a good job, and placing that into their future. So even after a long day, I can hear my son saying, wow, mom, I've noticed that you've been taking really good care of yourself and that you have more energy to play with me, because he is the most important thing to me. We'll talk about values another time, but he is my number one value in the world. So of course, him saying that is going to be very emotionally appealing to me. And him saying that I'm proud of you, it means a lot. So we've placed a lot of different things just in this one sentence. This is incredibly inspiring and motivating to me. And again, when we're in a place of hypnosis, when we're in that relaxed, receptive state, and we place these kinds of ideas with my own impact words into my future in a future pacing, my mind wraps around that in a way that nobody saying, Rose, you know that your son would be proud of you, and that if you just took better care of yourself, you'd have more energy. That's not inspiring. It might be true, but it's not the same. It's not the same as actually creating a story and a dialogue and a future pacing the way in which that we're learning to do it with psycholinguistics and hypnosis here. So I would love to support you, Miss Maria, and I'll ask you to unmute again, in taking one of your answers, and I jotted them all down, so you can pick whichever one you want, either the job, the relationship, the hobby, or the good job, and we'll create a powerful sentence for you.
Okay, I think I already did.
Oh, cool. Yeah, what share it with us if you don't mind.
Yeah, okay. I know when I do a good job, when I get a good feeling inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote, even after a long day, I still have energy and my body is strong.
Okay, so the good feeling for you is energy and strength.
Yeah, those are other two words I added. Sorry.
Okay, see, so powerful and interesting, you guys. See, my interpretation, I would think of the feeling as being more of an emotional thing, and she's talking about it being more of a physical thing. See how powerful it is to get the words and the understanding from the person and not make too many assumptions. So that was really powerful and beautiful, Maria. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, so this is a little bit of work, but in a fun way, right? You can put some music in the background. You can like do a little dance while you're doing it, while you're creating. So see how I've taken a couple of your things when we were talking about what needs to be present in a job for you to enjoy it. And I just said that doing this was going to be work. And I was like, put some music in the background, get down to, really feeling your own self and understanding yourself a little bit more as we're making changes and make it so much easy breezy. Okay, so now what we're going to do, Maria, I would love to, if you have any comments or questions just about what we've talked about so far and the impact words. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to have a little hypnosis session.
No, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So I am then going to share screen, put on some music, and read a little hypnosis session for you. So if you have the space and the time to just kick back and relax, this is going to be a wonderful session for you. Okay, so just so you ladies know what I am doing, I unshared the screen so that I can reshare it. And in the bottom left-hand corner, as you share your screen from Zoom, before you pick which window you want, in the bottom left, it says share sound and optimize for video clip. And what that means is that you can then, when I share my screen, it will also share the sound so that it doesn't come out like all jumbled sounding, which is so cool as a hypnotherapist. If you're going to be doing any sessions remotely like this, that you can have the ability to make the sound be as enjoyable and relaxing for the person as possible. So I just went onto YouTube and grabbed this one here. So I'm just going to press play and write down just a little bit. Maria, so just let me know if the sound of my voice and or the music needs to be adjusted in some way.
Sure. The music needs to be a little bit lower so I can hear your voice. Thank you.
Is that better there? Or even lower?
I think that's good. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this particular script is on page 71 of your guys' book, Discover the Language of the Mind, and it's called Hypnotic Mind Script. With your eyes comfortably closed, take in a deep, cleansing breath. And let it go. Concentrate on breathing in deeply and breathing out. Notice that with each breath you take, you are going deeper, further inside. You are going inside your own mind. And as you let go of the external world, you become more and more aware of the inner world of your thoughts. Thoughts are more powerful than things. In fact, thoughts create things. As you become less and less aware of your body, and become more and more aware of your mind. You are less concerned with external sounds. In fact, each time you practice using hypnosis, you find that outside sound only cause you to go deeper, deeper and deeper still, until you find the perfect level of relaxation for you. From here, I want you to create a room. This will be your training room. In this room, you will learn to connect with, become part of the hypnotic mind. From here, you can review all books you have read, all classes you have attended, everything you need to know, you do know in this space, in this time of deep and profound relaxation. Imagine that there is a comfortable chair, a chair 10 times more comfortable than any chair you've ever sat in. Find yourself settling into the chair. Your chair of deep and profound relaxation. And while in this chair, you have access to all skills, all abilities, and all resources you would need to develop your connection with the hypnotic mind. Each time you will find yourself going deeper, deeper, and deeper still. From this inner place, notice how your mind works when you have all the information you need. You know exactly what you want. And you say it with a perfect tone and tempo. You might find it useful to recall a time with a family member or friend when you were having a conversation and it was flowing. Flowing as naturally as water running down a lake. With this memory now available, imagine that you notice their breathing. And you immediately match their breathing. Notice that you relax and go. Of course, there are distractions both internally and externally. Take pay it no mind. This is your place, your space, and your time. You notice when you're in rapport and when you're out of rapport. And you simply make all the adjustments. Each time that you review a conversation in this manner, you get better, better, better and better than the time before. Notice the level of your body's relaxation. Just moments ago, you started the process of meditating with hypnotic knowledge. Deep communication. From here, if you don't mind, we'd like you to go even from this inner place. Notice the conversation, the words that they are using. Notice if those words are visual words like this, please. You notice if they are auditory words like click, now, or do you hear me now? even get a gut feeling when they start using kinesthetic words like grass, concrete, or handle. Most important, we're using their words back to them in a way that builds hypnotic. This kind of creativity is quite enjoyable. And from this deep inner place, resting comfortably in your hypnotic shift, you notice how they move their eyes, even as other parts of the conversation are happening in the room around you. You notice when their eyes move. It could be accessing visual information. When their eyes move from side to side, it could be accessing auditory information. When they look down, it could be talking to themselves or accessing feelings. You are becoming so aware of the nonverbal communication. You know exactly what to say and how to say it. Just let yourself go. Let go and review the process. You have done this once. This means you have the memory of it, and you can do it again. This means you have done this twice differently. Once step by step, listening to each word that was said, and the second time by remembering it. This means you have now done this 4 times. Wouldn't you agree? Once when you were listening to the step-by-step process. Second, by reviewing it in your mind. Then twice again differently through this review process. Notice how easy it is to learn. And because you are still listening to my voice, there's a part of you that continues to remember how many times we have really done this process. Go inside and check it out. You've done it again. This time differently. You have reviewed the complete process, which means you've now practiced 8 times. By now, you would probably agree that this is just too much work. Let's turn this process of learning over to the other than conscious mind now. That's the part of the mind that continues to learn even while you do other things. Things that are very important, like beating your heart, helping you to breathe, and bringing that which you desire towards you. Now, while you continue to experience the benefits of deep relaxation, I would like your conscious mind to go on a mental vacation. Go wherever you want. You can be with whomever you like to be with. Take a moment to enjoy the journey, knowing that every day in every way you're learning to use the psycholinguistic patterns to improve your life and the lives of others. And when you have finished your mental vacation, slowly count yourself back up to full awakened consciousness. 1. Become aware of the room that you are in. 2. Notice the feeling of well-being. 3. Each time you are capable of going this deep and then deeper. 4. With a perfect memory and recall of the process so that you can do this all on your own. And 5. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health. And this is so. One of the most beautiful things about being a hypnotherapist is that every time I do a session for somebody else, it's got to move through me. And so that healing right there is just so, so beautiful. So thank you. Thank you so much for showing up, for being here, for being interested in hypnosis and psycholinguistics, the language of the mind, and learning more and more about who we are and how we can improve our lives and other people's lives by understanding the language of the mind. So cool. So I know after a session, I like to have some water and a few moments of peace to kind of come fully back. So I will give that to you, Maria, unless you have some questions or comments that you would like to share with us before we go.
No, thank you. That was so awesome.
Mm.
I was able to be in a quiet space, even though there's some noise around me. I just let that go, like you suggested earlier. And just messages were just flowing into me, aha moments. Listening to what you were saying, but also listening to whatever comes my way. And of
Exactly.
course, distractions came my way as far as like my asparagus that are in the oven right now. You know, I just let it go. It's okay. The asparagus will be there when I'm done. this is my space, asparagus, get out of my space.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I feel you, girl. That was
Yeah.
wonderful.
I'm good with that.
Awesome. All right. I love you, babe. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.